All right, welcome here. Number 12 digs in. He lifts the ball to straightaway center field. Catch is made out in deep center, and that retires the side. Sorry for those of you that are just joining us, as we had a foul ball here from field 3 landed right next to the batter that was on deck. So that's 3 outs. 1-2-3 inning for Jefferson in this Jefferson versus Beaufort County matchup here. I'm going to give you an update on what happened in the top half of the inning when we come back. I'm just trying to get a few things organized here, and I'm going to give you those starting lineups as well as what happened there for the first 3 batters. Leading off here for Jefferson is going to be Bryson Eubanks.
Turn it off. Please turn it off now. Now it's back on.
First pitch is in there for a strike. I'm still trying to get my lineup organized here, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to do my best to multitask here. And that is in there for strike 2. And that is strike 3 as Eubanks is retired on 3 straight.
Number 2 for Jefferson. Number 1.
And that's going to bring up the second baseman, number 1, Aiden Welch, as that pitch catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. On the mound here for Beaufort County is Anthony Seminara, and he is feeling pretty good so far as he has thrown nothing but strikes, as that is swung on and missed for strike 2.
Number 1, All-Star Colin.
And Welch finds himself in a quick 0-2 hole as Seminara is working from the windup here. Pitch on the way, and that is swung on and put on the ground. Third baseman makes an attempt. Shortstop has the ball. Throw over to first in time to nab Welch. And that's going to be out number 2, which brings up the catcher, number 25, Landon Crawford, as he is looking to get some offense going here for Jefferson. As that is too far outside for ball 1. We have sorry, I got a little distracted. We have someone waving down there on the ground trying to get the attention of our announcer because we are struggling with our speaker here, as that is low for ball 2.
I'll go out there and fix it in a minute.
Pitch to Kennedy. Goes behind. Kind of took a step back and that one.
As that is swung on and missed
One ball.
for strike number one, as Ken is talking, waving at this mic, this
Tell the first baseman that the home plate.
I'm sorry. There's whole lot of commotion here. As that ball is fouled off for strike two. The count is 2-2 here. As we still have no one doing the scoreboard here on field two either. We're a little bit short here in the press box because we've been trying to get these fields ready for play. And it has been a bit messy up here. And that is swung on and missed for strike three. Ball on the ground. He's trying to run down to first. But the catcher throws the ball to first in time for out number three on another strikeout here. So we will be back here as we head into the top of the second inning in this 0-0 ball game. All right, welcome back here. I'm going to run through these lineups really quickly. In the top half of the inning here for Beaufort County, we had Jackson Riley ground out to the second baseman. He's starting at second base. Batting second, we have Logan Cotter starting at shortstop. He also grounded out to the second baseman. Batting third, we have Ian Steiner playing center field. He flew out to the center fielder. And then up at the plate now, we have the pitcher, number 7, Anthony Seminara. Batting after him, we have third baseman Chase Colella. In the DH spot, we have Colin Sanchez. And then in right field, we have Tucker Nelson. At first base, we have Wyatt Lather. And in left field, we have Brody Males. As the 0-0 pitch here to start the second inning is in, and it's lifted high in the air over the right side. Second baseman ranges over and makes the catch for out number one. One pitch, one out there for the pitcher Bryson Eubanks.
Takes another one. Middle four, strike two. 2-2 now. Outside venture.
And here we have a pitch high for ball one, as that may have been the second pitch. I believe I did miss a pitch there, as this one is outside for at least ball two. I'm waiting for the umpire to hold up his hands and tell me what the count is. And I got nothing there. As that is high. That must have been ball four, as he is headed down to first. Jefferson is the home team here, as Beaufort County is the visitors. That was Chase Colella, the third baseman, that walked there. And now we have the designated hitter, Colin Sanchez, here. And that's a attempted pickoff back safely. And real quick for Jefferson, on the mound, batting first, we have Bryson Eubanks. At second base, we have Aiden Welch. Behind the plate, we have Landon Crawford as the pitcher comes set here. Delivery, and that is outside for a ball. Attempted back pick to first. That ball gets into right field. Colella is rounding second. He's going to be held up. And now the ball gets past first baseman again on the throw in, so Colella heads on to third as the ball is back to the pitcher. And I would imagine you're going to see a lot of really aggressive base running here from both teams, because if that ball gets in the grass out there, it will be absolutely soaking wet, because we got 3 different bouts of rain here today, as these outfields are going to take a while to dry out, because we have about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours left of sunshine here. And hopefully that's enough sun to get some of this outfield dry, but I got to be honest with you, I'm not terribly optimistic about that, as that pitch is high for ball 1. Batting fourth for Jefferson is Blake Soule in center field. Then we have shortstop Tucker Rogers, designated hitter Wyatt Ford. Here's the pitch, and that is swung on and missed for strike 1. The evens account 1-1. After Ford, we have the first baseman Kingston Jackson. Then we have left fielder Bryson Deese and third baseman Connor Whitaker to round out the lineup. And here comes the pitch. We have time called in the box by Colin Sanchez. Colin Sanchez, still a hitter here. Runner on third with 1 out. And that is swung on and lifted up to the right side. Second baseman's ranging back. That's going to fall into fair territory behind the second baseman. The center fielder comes on and picks the ball up to throw it into second. It looked like the second baseman had a beat on it, but he took an interesting angle, and I think he just couldn't quite recover from his initial read as that ball lands in for a single with an RBI for Colin Sanchez, and that brings up the right fielder Tucker Nelson as he looks to keep this thing going here for Beaufort County.
Yeah.
And that is high and inside for ball 1, as I'm going to take a brief intermission here. The stream will continue, but I'm going to be muted as I tell my scorekeeper here something. And that is on the outside part of the plate, it looked like to me, but the umpire says no. That is a ball 2. Attempted pickoff to first, gets past the first baseman. We have Sanchez rounding second. He's going to go get waved on to third, and he is in safely as we have the umpire calling time. There was a dead ball. That ball must have gotten into the bullpen or the dugout there, as they are going to send 14 Sanchez back to second base as we get this all sorted out. And that is high and inside for a ball.
Are we doing the pitch count?
Ryder.
And that is right down the middle for strike 1, as there's a back pick to second, but Sanchez is back safely as the pickoff attempt is not successful. Tucker Nelson, you would imagine, is going to have the green light here on a 3-1 count.
Got to bounce straight back. Strike 2. Now
Pitcher comes set. And that is in there for a strike. That's going to fill the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes with a runner on second and 1 out here in the top of the second inning. As I know that we missed some of this. That's an interesting move by the second baseman. Second baseman was actually on the shortstop side of the base there. I think he was asking for a pickoff move, but that is ball 4 to Nelson. He's going to head down to first on the walk. And that brings up number 9, first baseman Wyatt Lather, who I actually had the pleasure of coaching during the regular season for Beaufort County Parks and Recreation. And he's just a great kid. He is just a great kid. And that is in there for strike one as the count moves to no balls and one strike. As that is swung on and missed for strike two for Lather.
Never mind that. He will be going.
And I would imagine he's going to shorten up, protect the plate for anything close here, as he's going to look to keep this inning going for Beaufort County.
Here at BC.
And that's low for ball one. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here to Lather, who is rocking the really long hair. That's just about down to his number on his back. When pitcher comes set, second baseman bouncing around there. That is inside for ball 2. That's a great take by Lather because that is really close. That evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. Runner on first and second here as Beaufort County is looking to do some damage this inning, and Jefferson is looking to minimize. And that is on the outside part of the plate for ball 3.
5-3.
Sorry, that was just outside of the plate. Looked like it could have gone either way, but the umpire says no. Ball 3. Counts full. And that is low and away in the other batter's box for ball 4.
Now pitching number 10, Luke.
So Wyatt Lather will make his way down to first as the bases are now loaded for the 9-hole hitter Brody Males, who gets the nod for the start in left field today.
Pitcher Luke.
As we have time called on the field as a Gator is driving across, one of those 4x4s hauling bags of quick dry, which we have gone through plenty of them so far this tournament. As I mentioned earlier, we had 3 different onslaughts of rain just today alone, as our grounds crew and even some of our non-grounds crew have been working tirelessly to get these fields prepared, as my guy Ken Tinsley is working the scoreboard, and he is trying to figure out what to do. I believe it's an 0-0 count. And that is outside for ball 1. If you hold down the ball or strike button, it will clear the count there, Ken. If you just hold it down, it'll clear the count. And now we've got a 1-0 count here to Males as the pitcher comes set, bases loaded with 1 out. And that is swung on and lifted to center field. Center fielder comes over. He makes the play. He's got the catch. He's going to throw into home as the runner tags from third. That's going to get off the catcher's shin guards. The runner is tagged from second. He's coming in. He's in safely at home as the runner from first makes it all the way to third. As Beaufort County there pushes 2 more across on the sac fly by Brody Males. And Brody Males does a great job of helping his team out and scoring 2. As we have time called once again here. Never mind, we do not. The Gator is on the outside of the fence this time. And here is the leadoff, as that is high for ball 1. Here's the leadoff, Jackson Riley, who can absolutely fly on the base paths, as we've seen so far this tournament. He's definitely the fastest kid on this team. He might be one of the fastest in this tournament, as that is outside for ball 2. That brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes, as Eubanks is really working hard here this inning as opposed to his first inning where he went 1-2-3. When it comes set, delivery right down the middle for strike 1 brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. You wonder if maybe Coach put the take sign on there. As we have a little bit of musical fields here today. Pitcher comes set, delivery. He squares around. That's outside for ball 3. Brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. as Jackson Riley seems to be playing mind games with this pitcher, squaring around and not squaring around, swinging away and not swinging away. Got a runner on third with 2 outs. And the pitch swung on and fouled back out of play. Watch out, coach. Mount Pleasant coach almost got hit by that pitch, by that foul ball, but thankfully he moved out of the way and it landed safely about 3 feet away from him. So that brings the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that is outside for ball 4. Riley takes his base. And I would imagine we're going to see a steal on the first pitch here from Riley. And that is going to bring up the shortstop, number 11, Logan Cotter, who has played shortstop every game so far. He seems to be the cornerstone of this defense out at short. As we have time called by the Jefferson coach, he's going to come out and have a conference with his pitcher. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here for Jefferson. And we'll be back with that defensive adjustment in just a moment here on the County Channel. Welcome back here to field number 2, the Terrell L. Pinckney Memorial Field, as we have Blake Soule in to pitch, as that is low in the dirt for ball 1. Riley did go on the pitch, so he is in safely at second, as I am attempting to fill out this affidavit here.
Number 24, Joe Puckett.
Yes, that was a ball, Shane. As the count is 1 ball and no strikes, I believe, as that is in there for strike 1. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. As I am getting this affidavit squared away, that pitch is inside for ball 2, brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Eubanks finished with 40 pitches on the day. And Soule came in from center field, as that is low for ball 4, as Shane was correct. And I apologize to Shane Stager, who I found out just yesterday that his name is pronounced Stager and not Stager. And so I felt really bad and apologized to him profusely for mispronouncing his name. As now the bases are loaded for Ian Steiner, as this pitch is swung on and missed for strike one, excuse me. And for those of you that were listening yesterday, Ian Steiner had some fireworks yesterday with the bases loaded as he hit a grand slam to dead center field. So he's looking to repeat that performance here, as we have a guy that throws a little bit harder here. So he's going to let that pitcher do the work and just try and get a barrel to it, as that catches the outside part of the plate for strike two. That was a beautiful pitch by Soul, as Steiner finds himself in an early 0-2 hole. Pitch on the way. Curveball didn't quite break enough. Back pick to third, not in time. Lather is in safely, as the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ian Steiner. And the pitch on the way. That is swung on and fouled straight back. That ball had some velocity on it. Wind up, and the pitch is swung on and hit sharply through the hole on the left side, out to left field. Going to wave Riley around third. And everyone is safe as 2 more runs come across on the RBI double there by Ian Steiner. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, number 7, Anthony Seminara, as that ball was absolutely laced. He just got his hands to it, and the barrel followed, as that was driven into left field, as that is low and away for ball 1. As Seminara here is looking to help himself out, as that is outside for ball number 2. And a pitch on the way. That is high and inside for ball 3. Beaufort County just seems to be scoring run after run after run here in this tournament, as that is low and away for ball 4. Seminara takes his base. And that brings up Chase Colella, number 6. As we have a courtesy runner. It looks like Eli Morgan is going to come in and courtesy run for Anthony Seminara, the pitcher, which makes sense. And I will remind you here, we were supposed to have this game on field, I can't remember if it was field 1 or field 3 today at 6:30, but with that rain, it got moved over here to field 2, as we were supposed to have, that pitch is outside for ball 1. We were supposed to have a 13U game here for Dixie Junior boys on field 2, but that has gotten pushed to tomorrow. So if you've been tuning in trying to get hold of that game, that's low and inside for ball 2. If you were trying to get a hold of that game, that will be played tomorrow on field 2 at 5 o'clock. And that's going to be a matchup between Beaufort County Dixie Junior boys, the 13U, against Tri-County Dixie Junior boys. That pitch is high for ball 3. And it's actually interesting, in the 13U, they are all the teams that have a team in the Dixie boys division as well. Between Tri-County, Oconee County, and Beaufort County are the 3 13U teams, as that is right down the middle for strike 1. As Soul is looking to battle back into this count and this at-bat. And the delivery is low for ball 4. And technically an RBI walk for Chase Colella, as Cotter comes in to score. And that brings up the designated hitter, Colin Sanchez, who it must have been an interesting day for him on day 1, as that is right down the pipe for strike 1. And it looked like Sanchez was taking that pitch all the way. I don't know if that was a coaching decision or a hitter's decision. And that is swung on and missed. And a fake back pick to first. But nothing doing, as Sanchez finds himself in an early 0-2 hole. And Soul looks to close out the inning. And that does not catch part of the plate. And that is ball 1. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Soul is working really quickly. He's got a very quick wind-up and delivery. He makes a very deliberate movements. And that's low for ball 2. And I wonder if maybe if he slowed himself down a little bit, that might make him relax and focus on the mid a bit more because he has really good arm action. And that is low and inside for ball 3. He looks quite tired up there. But he now finds himself in a 3-2 count. 2 outs. Runners should be moving here as that is low for ball 4. And Sanchez is going to walk. And Beaufort County now finds himself up 7-0 after a 1-2-3 first inning. They have erased that from their minds, from their memory, and just come back roaring in the second half. Or the second inning, excuse me. Second inning, as that pitch is high for ball 1. To Tucker Nelson. And that is in the dirt. That bounced about 4 feet in front of the plate. But the catcher does a great job of staying in front of it because it is very hard to block spiked fastballs. And here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside, that gets to the backstop. Runner goes, and he is going to be up. Standing up safely. He scores to bring this to an 8-0 ball game in favor of Beaufort County. As the runner from first and second both advance on the wild pitch. And we now have a runner at second and third here for Beaufort County. Tucker Nelson looking to do some more damage. 2 outs. And Blake Soul on the mound. That is high for ball 4. And that will reload the bases here for number 9, Wyatt Lather. And this is just a ball player through and through. He's a tough kid. As I mentioned, he was on my regular season team, and he actually had to miss some time for an emergency appendectomy surgery. And that is low for ball 1. And that is low for ball 1. But yeah, he missed some time for an emergency appendectomy, came back, and that is right down the middle for strike 1, brings count to 1 ball and 1 strike. But he came back and helped out the rest of the season and now made this all-star team. And that is in there for strike 2. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch, low and inside for ball 2. Brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the pitcher just delivered that pitch almost immediately after Lather dug into the box. And here's the 2-2 pitch. And that is called strike 3 as Lather watches it go. That's going to be a backwards K as Soul finally stops the bleeding here. And we're going to head to the bottom of the second inning. We've got 4, 5, 6 coming up here for Jefferson, and we will be back on the county channel. Welcome back here to Field 2 as Jefferson County looks to respond to a big inning by Beaufort County there. And that brings up the pitcher, number 7, Blake Soul, to start things off here for Jefferson to try and battle back into this game. That's lifted high to the right side. Second baseman ranges back, makes the play for out number 1. One pitch, 1 out for Seminara there, as Riley shows the range once again to the right side. If you remember, he had 2 great plays yesterday. One of them, he went deep in the hole, slid on his knees and made a play and threw a guy out at first. And that is swung on and missed by Tucker Rogers, who gets the start at shortstop today. And that is put in play foul down the right field line as Seminara works a quick 0-2 count. And I would expect to see him break off a off-speed pitch here, maybe a curveball, a slider. He's got a kind of a 3/4 arm action here, so slider might be really effective here. Looks like a fastball high for ball 1. That brings count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. No one on, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning here, as Tucker looks to start things off here. That's a swing and a miss. Catcher blocks it, gets away from him. He makes a throw down to first in time for out number 2. And strikeout number 3 there for Seminara. And that brings up Wyatt Ford, the designated hitter. And Wyatt Ford is hitting in place of the right fielder, Chance Bass. Chance Bass is starting in right field, but he is being DH'd by Wyatt Ford, as that is high and in for ball 1. That brings a count to 1 ball and no strikes, as Seminara looks to make it a quick inning. And that is outside for ball 2, as Ford finds himself up in the count, 2 balls and no strikes in this 8-0 ball game. Here's the pitch, low and away for ball 3. And after having so much command for the first 2 batters, it seems to have left him here. Seminara might be struggling a little bit to find the zone. He's going to try and dial it back in. He might take some off the fastball just to get one across here. That's exactly what he does for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. I would expect to see another fastball, probably just like that. He's got to trust his defense, let his defense work out there. And that is on the ground towards the second baseman. He comes in, makes the play, throws over to first in time for out number 3. As that's another 1-2-3 inning there for Jefferson. And Beaufort County has Brody Males coming to the plate to start the top of the 3rd. We will be back on the county channel. All right, welcome back here to field 2 as we have another defensive change for Jefferson. As Blake Sowell is now off the mound, and he is going to be replaced by Landon Crawford, number 25. As Sowell had some trouble with command there, he threw 34 pitches. And it looks like he is back out in center field here for Jefferson. As that is in there for strike 1. As Brody Males digs in. And that is swung on and lifted the right side, right at the second baseman. He ranges a few steps back to make the play for out number 2. And that is going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Jackson Riley, here in the top of the 3rd inning. And he's looking to get on base for the second time tonight, as he is 0 for 1 here with a ground out to the second baseman and a walk as he squares around a bunt. That's low for ball 1. And Landon Crawford here has made quick work for 1 out. And here's the 1-0 count. That is high and inside as Jackson Riley ducks out of the way of that pitch for ball 2. And we've still got an 8-0 ball game here in Beaufort County's favor, as that is outside for ball 3, brings the count to 3 balls and no strikes. And you got to wonder if maybe coach is putting on the take sign here. That's 3 straight for Crawford. And that pitch is high for a ball 4. Riley, the speedster, is going to make his way on to first. And that brings up shortstop Logan Cotter. And Cotter is going to look to keep his good game going so far, as that is low for ball 1. He is also 0 for 1. Excuse me. He is also 0 for 1. And we have a time called by the umpire, as Riley was stealing second, but he is told to go back to first there, as there must have been time called by the umpire before the play developed. So Riley back at first. Cotter digging in with a 1-0 count. Riley takes off for that's a strike, but no throw down to second, as Riley steals yet another base. And Cotter had take all the way there, as he knew Riley had a good jump. He didn't want to risk a double play, and the ball is in there for a strike. Brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes here, as Crawford is so far throwing a lot of strikes here to Beaufort County All-Stars. Pitcher comes set. Here's the pitch, and that is outside for a ball. Riley takes off, throw down to third, not in time, as Riley slides feet first into third. Again, another stolen base, as that brings the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner on third, 1 out. Beaufort County leads 8-0 in the top of the 3rd inning. Umpire gives play, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. That's a strikeout for Crawford. And that brings up the big swinger, number 12, Ian Steiner, who had a 2 RBI double earlier today, and he hit an absolute line drive out to the center fielder that Blake Sowell had a beat on and made a play on. But I would imagine he's going to have the green light, as the coach, Danny Morgan, takes a timeout to go and discuss a strategy here with Ian Steiner. You wonder if maybe he's going to ask his star hitter to lay down a bunt. No. That ball's going to get to the backstop. Jackson Riley takes off. That's not even going to be close. He was safe at home before the catcher even touched the baseball. And that's going to be run number 9 for Beaufort County. as the catcher for Jefferson has been doing a whole lot of running around back there. And Steiner now has a 1-0 count with no one on. Pitcher gets to work from the windup. Pitch on the way, swung on and missed. That was a healthy hack there by Steiner. He was trying to hit one 400 feet into the trees in left center field, but that was a swing and a miss for strike one. Brings count to 1 ball and 1 strike. And that swung on and hit directly into the ground. Bounces over to the first baseman. First baseman catches ball, taps first, and gets out of the inning with only 1 run there for Beaufort County. That is a great inning for Jefferson. They needed a quick one, and they got it. We'll be back here for the bottom of the third as Jefferson looks to keep this momentum going here on the County Channel. Welcome back here to field number 2 as Jefferson comes to the plate. And Kingston Jackson, the first baseman, is looking to start off this inning as we have a couple of defensive changes here for Beaufort County. Micah Morgan comes in at left field and that is low and outside for ball 1. Micah Morgan is in for Brody Males in left field, and a new pitcher we have, Ethan Sietkowski. That is swung on and missed for strike 1. Brings count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Ethan Sietkowski is now in for Anthony Seminara on the mound. And the pitch, and that is swung on and hit on the ground to the second baseman, makes the play, flip over to first in time for out number 1. As that brings up Bryson Deese, or DC. I am not quite sure, but I'm going to go with Deese for today. As one of my 15U All-Star players I see down in the walkway, Hayward McElhaney, as that pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1 from Sietkowski. Looks like McElhaney
It's KP. No. KX. No.
There. On field 2, but we are back as there's one out as Seminara struck out here. And that's ball 4 to Kalela. He walks down to first. As Crawford is looking pretty good on the mound so far. He's throwing a lot of strikes, but he's kind of being a bit streaky. And now we have number 10, Phoenix Shapiro. And he is batting for Colin Sanchez as a pickoff attempt to first. First baseman wasn't even ready. As Kalela rounds second, didn't even think about stopping at second. He's at third, rounding third. Coach is waving him around. Didn't even think about stopping at third. He comes all the way around to score and brings the differential to 10 as Beaufort County now leads 10-0 here on field 2 in the top of the 4th inning. And that was just a poor play all the way around as the first baseman wasn't even holding the runner on. Pitcher didn't step off, so he had to throw that ball to first as that is high and inside for ball 1. Looked like the first baseman just was not prepared, and that ball got all the way down the right field line. And Chase Kalela didn't look back. And that pitch is swung on and lifted to the right side, but foul for strike 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike here to Phoenix Shapiro, who has, as mentioned, come in as a substitute for Colin Sanchez in the designated hitter slot, as that is low and away for ball 2. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here, no one on base. And that pitch is high and inside once again, and that brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike in this 10-0 ball game in Beaufort County's favor. 1 out here, and that catches the outside part of the plate for strike 2. That fills the count as Crawford is working hard out there, trying to do all he can to keep Jefferson in this game, and that is right down the heart of the plate. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Great pitch there by Crawford as he fans Sanchez on 6 pitches. Shapiro. As that brings up number 13, Tucker Nelson, who so far is 0 for 0 on the day with 2 walks. And that is in there for strike 1, catches the inside part of the plate. Crawford is really painting the corners here on his strikes. And I'm going to have one criticism here for Ken Tens, as he is announcing at-bats right in the middle of the pitch. And that is swung on and missed for strike 2. That brings the count to no balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch is on the way, and that hits him. That hit Nelson. And he still has yet to record an at-bat this game, as he is walked, and been hit by a pitch. And that brings up number 3. Ethan Sietkowski, who has come in to pitch. So we'll see what he can do to help himself out on the mound, as that is in there for a strike. Looked like that was take all the way. And you wonder if maybe the runner on first base didn't miss a steal sign there. And here comes the 0-1 pitch, and that is low for ball 1. And that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. As we dig in, no sign from the third base coach. And that is hit on the ground to the right side. Second baseman ranges over, makes a play, throw over to first in time for out number 3. As Sietkowski is told to Sietkowski down for out number 3. But he will be back out there on the mound, I would imagine, after only having thrown 10 pitches last half inning. And a scoreless half inning. So we will be right back as Jefferson 1, 2, 3 in the lineup are coming up. Trying to keep this game going in this 10-0 game in Beaufort County. We'll be right back on the county channel. Welcome back here. We have Ethan Sietkowski still on the mound for Beaufort County, and that brings up Bryson Eubanks to the plate, leadoff hitter, who started on the mound, and he is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. As Sietkowski winds up, here's the pitch, and that's low for ball 1. Brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. And the 1-0 count, low and away for ball 2. That brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes. And for those of you that follow Major League Baseball, we have the Home Run Derby tonight. And that is swung on and fouled for strike 1. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. As we were all kind of hoping to catch the Home Run Derby, but we might not be able to watch any of it. And that is lifted high in the air, out of play behind the plate. Evan Christian stuck his hand out like he was going to make a play, but he did not move a step. He had absolutely no intentions of even trying to catch that ball, despite what it looked like. It looked like his feet were glued in cement as that ball went right next to him. It probably landed 1 foot away from him, and he just did not even budge. As that pitch is low and away for ball 3. That brings the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Evan Christian down there is our athletics manager for Beaufort County. And he has done great work getting the fields ready, but he did not do great work on trying to catch that foul ball. As the 3-2 pitch is high for ball 4. And there goes the perfect game. The combined perfect game, I should say, as Jefferson gets their first base runner of the day. And that brings up number 1, Aiden Welch, to the plate. And we have Sietkowski working from the stretch. Comes set. Pickoff move to first, not in time. As Seminara gets the ball right back to Sietkowski. Working from the stretch here, runner on first, nobody out. And squares around a bunt, pulls it back as that pitch is a ball. Brings count to 1 ball and no strikes. And for those of you just joining us, we have had an exciting game here so far, and that is pass the catcher. Catcher throws down to second, not in time as the runner goes on the pass ball. And he is in safely at second as the batter looked to bunt there. I think the umpire called that he pulled it back, but if you ask me, it looked like he did not pull back his bunt. And we have 2 balls and no strikes here to Welch. So Welch may have gotten a lucky break there as that pitch is over the outside part of the plate for strike 1. That brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out and a runner on second here for Jefferson as they are looking to really push a runner across here. This is their first sign of life on offense so far. Shortstop bouncing back and forth. Swung on and missed. For strike number 2, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Cotter is doing good work over there at shortstop, giving the pitcher signals. And we have time called as Danny Morgan, head coach for Beaufort County, is going to go and have a conversation with his pitcher at the very least. It looks like he's bringing the whole infield in. And as I'm calling, I hear the name Alex Grave thrown around over on field 1, and I will say I'm gonna let Harry know. I'm gonna let Harry know that those that are close to Alex Graves, we like to call him Flex because he is so big. And the conversation is over as we now have a defensive substitution here mid-game. Eli Morgan out to left field. Micah Morgan out to center field. And we'll see what happens with the batting order whenever they come back to the plate. But we have a 2-2 count. No outs here to Welch. Pitch on the way. Low and inside for ball 3. Brings the count to 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Takes it as a ball like he.
And we are looking for the payoff pitch here. 3-2 pitcher comes set on the way. Delivers ground ball to the first baseman. Bobbled a little bit. He's going to dive for first base. Runner is safe. Not really sure why Anthony Seminara tried to dive to the base there when Ethan Sietkowski was making his route to first. All he had to do was toss the ball to Ethan, and Ethan would have stepped on first for an out, but he decided to try and dive with his glove to touch the base before the runner got there, but the runner legs it out for an error on the first baseman, as that was an interesting play there. And the pitch is a pickoff to third base. They have the runner there dead to rights. He's going to get caught in a rundown. Ball to the catcher. Catcher dropped the ball as he made the tag. He's running him back home. He's going to make the tag there. Throw back to third. Gets into left field. I thought it got into left field, but the left fielder was doing his job and backing up the throw. So the pole was in the way. I couldn't see Eli Morgan because Eli Morgan's a small guy. It must have been turned sideways. So the pole was completely covering him up. I could not see him one bit. That's why I thought the ball was getting into left field. But he was positioned perfectly, did exactly what he was supposed to do as they get that guy caught in a rundown between third and home for out number one, and that saves a run. However, that runner comes all the way around to third. And I'm sorry for all this chatter. There is absolutely, I know that you guys listening to this game can hear pretty much every single word that is said around me. That ball is lifted high into the center field. Micah Morgan makes a play, throw home. That's in time. He's going to get the runner at home. What a play by Micah Morgan. He made a diving play in center field, pops up, guns the runner at home to save a run and keep the shutout and this great baseball game going here. And we're headed into the top of the fifth. Beaufort County coming to the plate. We will be back on the county channel. All right, welcome back as we have another pitching change here for Jefferson. Number 13, Tucker Rogers, is going to enter the game on the mound. He was already in the game, but he is now coming to pitch as we have Micah Morgan digging in after he made that spectacular play in center field. He's got to be riding that high. We'll see what he can do at the plate here. He drives that ball deep to right field. That's going to burn the right fielder. That's going to get all the way down to the fence. He's going to be running forever. He rounds second. He's headed for third. Let's see. He's getting waved home by the third base coach. He's going all the way. He puts the brakes on. Have a day, Micah Morgan. That's a stand-up triple. As he hooks it with the third base coach there, his uncle Danny Morgan. As this day for Micah Morgan, wow, he may never forget this day. because he made a spectacular play on defense and turns around and has a stand-up triple. As that ball is outside, brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes here to leadoff hitter Jackson Riley. Jackson Riley so far is 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a ground out to the second baseman. So he's still looking for his first hit of the day today. And that's high for ball 2. As I have my buddy Lane here in the press box. And he's walking away now. I was going to let him say hi to all the listeners back home, but he has left. That pitch is low and away for ball number 3. And that brings count to 3 balls and no strikes here to Jackson Riley, the speedster for Beaufort County. And the next pitch is outside. That gets past the catcher. Micah Morgan's headed home. He's going to score standing up. And Jackson Riley has yet another walk. I'm not sure he's besides his ground out to second base, I'm not sure he's swung the bat a single time since then. As he has just walked time after time. And that brings up the shortstop Logan Cotter as we have timeout called. And looks like we have a defensive substitution here. Second baseman is coming out of the game, and a new second baseman is coming in. And we are waiting to see what's happening here. We're waiting for the umpire to call up the sub to us. And I would imagine their bench player, I would imagine that is Jackson Kingley coming in to second base. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that is what's happening. Kingley is coming into second for Welch. Never mind, 99. Chance Bass is coming in for Bryson Fairbanks. So that's what we got going on. The bench player has now entered the game. Not the bench player, excuse me. The one that was getting DH for. That pitch is low and away for ball number 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes here to Logan Cotter. And that is in there for a strike. And I will say, Logan Cotter, great baseball player. I'm a big fan of his younger brother, Chase Cotter, who is actually on the 13U All-Star team that I am the coach of. Here's the pitch, and that is swung on and fouled down the right side for strike 2. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chase Cotter threw a complete game yesterday for me on the mound. He threw 45 pitches in 4 innings, and I believe he had a couple of hits at the plate as well. Could not be more proud of him, and we just got a lot of baseball talent coming out of the Cotter household. As Jason Cotter is actually an assistant coach on both of these teams, and that is swung on and hit back up the middle off the pitcher's glove. That's going to go to the second baseman. He picks it up, throws over to first, not nearly in time as Logan Cotter legs that out. And he beat that throw by about 6 steps. That second baseman didn't have a chance after it tipped off the pitcher's glove. Just an unlucky break for Jefferson and a lucky break for Logan Cotter on the sharply hit ball. And that's going to bring up number 1, Eli Morgan, who has entered the game for Ian Steiner. So Eli Morgan now, number 1, digs in for Ian Steiner. Eli Morgan, the son of Coach Danny Morgan, as that is right down the middle for strike 1. And Eli Morgan is kicking himself for not swinging at that one. I'm sure he regrets not swinging at it because it probably looked like a beach ball coming across the way that Beaufort County is seeing the ball. And that is another one that catches the outside part of the plate for strike number 2, as Tucker Rogers seems to have something going here on Morgan. And Morgan finds himself quickly down. No balls and 2 strikes. Runner on first and second with nobody out. And that is swung on, put in play to shortstop. Shortstop ranges over, touch a second, jump throw to first. Dug out of the dirt by the first baseman. What a play all the way around for the second out of the inning, as the first baseman thought it was out number 3, and he just rolled the ball back to the mound. But that was only 2 outs. as Riley thought about trying to take home there, but decided not to. On the 6-3 double play, that was a great play by the shortstop on a well-hit ground ball. And that brings up number 7, Anthony Seminara, who watches that one outside for ball number 1. And a home run derby update for those that are watching or not watching. Randy Arozarena, that pitch is high and inside, gets a part of Seminara for a hit by pitch. And he's going to make his way down to first. And Randy Arozarena eliminated the opponent that he was facing. Well, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but Randy Arozarena advances to the second round. And that is outside for ball 1 here to Chase Colella. Chase Colella digging in with the 1-0 count. And that is in there for strike number 1, as that brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. And we have 2 outs here, runner on first and third. Wonder if Coach gave the steal sign. He did not. He might have. It doesn't matter. Pitcher is called for a balk. So the runner from first moves to second. Runner from third comes on in to score. And ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that the run rule is now in effect. So the run rules here are 15 after 4, 12 after 5, and 10 after 6. Excuse me, it is 15 after 3. And that ball is lifted in the air to the left side. That's going to fall in front of the left fielder. Runner coming around third is going to get the stop sign, as Colella has himself a nice single there. Well hit ball on the barrel, and that's going to bring up number 10, Phoenix Shapiro. Phoenix Shapiro again entered the game for Colin Sanchez as he looks to keep this game going. And, these run rules are kind of confusing to me. I'm not sure if we have the 12-1 rule in effect here or not. And that is high and inside for a ball. And I'm being told that yes. Now, I will say Jefferson has an opportunity to hit. Since they are the home team, they always have an opportunity to hit. I do know enough baseball for that, as that is low and away for a ball, too. So that brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes, I believe. But there might be a strike. If I missed the pitch, there might be a strike. I apologize if I did. I was too worried about the run rule. As Tucker Rogers is on the mound, and we have a runner on first and third again here. Pitch comes across. That's low for ball 3. Ball 2. I am all over the place here. I don't know my up from down and left from right. And that is in there for a strike. Supposedly strike number 2. Umpire just gave a signal. I can't see from here how many fingers he held up, so I'm sorry. And that is swung on, lifted to the left side. Left fielder comes in, has a beat on it. That's going to fall in fair territory for another single. And with 2 outs, you wonder why the runner from first is not standing on third. He should have been going all the way there, as Coach Danny Morgan on third base throws his hands up, wondering the same thing that I was. That was still a very well-hit ball by Phoenix Shapiro, as that fell in fair territory in front of the left fielder. And that brings up number 13, Tucker Nelson. Tucker Nelson now digging in. That's swung on and missed. Fouled back for strike number 1. That brings the count to no balls and 1 strike. And for those that were wondering, it is not Willie Nelson. It is Tucker Nelson. Willie Nelson is a great number of years older than Tucker Nelson. And that is swung on and missed for strike number 2. Now, I can't speak as to whether or not the music that Tucker Nelson makes is as good. I don't even know if he makes music because I don't have his bio sheets in front of me for this team. That is inside for ball number 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here to Tucker Nelson. Tucker Nelson. And that is driven up the middle. Hits off the second baseman's glove, and he makes the stop but gets nobody out. And this inning continues on that infield single from Nelson. And that brings up number 3, Ethan Sietkowski. Sietkowski now up for Beaufort County as that pitch is high for ball 1. That brings the count to 1 ball and no strikes. And the score is 13-0 here in Beaufort County's favor. 2 outs in the top of the 5th. As that runs inside for ball number 2, brings the count to 2 balls and no strikes. Rogers comes set. Pitch on the way, catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. Count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike here to Sietkowski. And that's outside, gets to the backstop as the runner from at third holds up and does not score. That ball didn't kick far enough, or the runner didn't get a good enough read. So that brings the count to 3 balls, 1 strike here to Sietkowski. And that ball is lifted to the right side. Right fielder's coming in, does not make the play. And that's in for an RBI single from Sietkowski, which is going to bring up number 2, Micah Morgan, who is having an absolute whale of a ball game and didn't even get the nod as a starter today. But he's looking to keep this going. And it looks like Beaufort County might be playing a little bit of station-to-station baseball here. And the pitch on the way, and that is driven to left field on a line. Left fielder makes the play, falls in. Micah Morgan with an RBI single, showing that he can hit all sides of the ballpark here, as he ripped a triple over the right fielder's head, and he absolutely lasered that ball to left field for an RBI single, which flips the lineup over to Jackson Riley as that catches the outside part of the plate for ball 1. And I'd really like to see Jackson Riley swing at a pitch here. We'll see if he does. Swung on and fouled back. Heads up over there in foul territory. And I wonder if someone might put that in their pocket and bring it home as a souvenir. That brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike here. Working from the stretch, bases loaded, pitch on the way. Outside for ball 2, brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. As Rogers is looking to stop the bleeding and get out of this half inning. That's going to get to the backstop. Runner holds that third. You're going to see Beaufort County is going to kind of put the brakes on the base runners here. They're just going to work on getting those runners over via at bat now. As Jefferson pitcher comes set, pitch to the plate outside for ball number 3. And it looks like the field umpire was talking to the pitcher there. I think he gave him a warning for not coming set. Looked like he kind of, on his stretch, didn't really pause when he came set. So they didn't call it a balk. And that ball is lifted high and deep to the left side. Left fielder has a beat on it, makes the play for out number 3. As Jefferson finally gets out of that half inning, Beaufort County is going to head into the field here, leading 15-0. Jefferson is going to look to scratch a couple across here as we have the 4, 5, 6 batter coming up in the bottom of the 5th for Jefferson. We'll be back on the County Channel. Welcome back here as Jefferson looks to keep this game going as number 7, Blake Soul, digs in. So far, he has flown out to the second baseman as that ball is lifted to the left side. Oh, swung on and missed. I can't see a thing out there. That is swung on and missed for strike 1. And that is hit on the ground to the left side. Shortstop has a beat on it, makes the play, throws over to first in time for out number 1. As Eli Morgan now steps onto the mound. There was a pitching change between innings there that I was not able to get around to announcing, but he is now on the mound, and he retires the first batter. He's looking to keep the second batter in check here. Pitch on the way, and that is low and outside for ball 1. That brings count to 1 ball and no strikes, 1 out, no runners on base. As Eli Morgan, you're too loud. That is low and away for ball 2. And that is outside for ball 3. And I'm sorry, I was talking to my coworker Bob here. I'm sure y'all could hear him talking. I did not mean to be that rude to you, Bob. I apologize. And that is high for ball 4. And that is a 1-out walk issued by Eli Morgan as Jefferson has a base runner here early in the half inning. Runner on first, 1 out. Beaufort County still leads 15-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Eli Morgan comes set, pitch to the plate. Across for strike 1. Brings the count to no balls and 1 strike. 1 out, runner on first. Beaufort County is looking for a ground ball, maybe a double play. That ball is lifted high to the right side. Second baseman has a beat on it, makes the play. Camped under it. Excuse me, that was the first baseman. First baseman, it looks like Sietkowski is now at first. He fields that fly ball with ease for out number 2. And that brings up number 23, Bryson Deese, to the plate. As Morgan comes set, pitch to the plate outside. Good block by the catcher there. keep the ball in front. Looks like catcher is number 10, Phoenix Shapiro. And I'm being told that is not number 23 at the plate. It is, as we've noticed, that ball is across for strike number 1. And I can tell you, I have no idea who these batters are. I can't see anything out there with these jerseys. And that's low for ball 2. Not that the jerseys aren't good. I really like the jerseys. They're very reminiscent of the Astros Tequila Sunrise jerseys, but without the orange. They're blue instead. Very good jerseys, but in this lighting, I can't see what number it is at all. And that is in there for strike 2. That evens the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And we call that Deuces Wild here. And we have a game going over on field 1. Never mind, they're on in and out. I thought we had no one recording anything on field 1 there. That pitch is in the dirt for ball number 3. It brings count to 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that is a full count with 2 outs. So the runner on first should be going on the pitch. And he does. Pitch on the way. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And that's going to be your ball game, ladies and gentlemen, as Beaufort County wins this one 15-0 on the 3-player combined no-hitter between Anthony Seminaro, who pitched 2 innings, Ethan Sietkowski, who pitched 2, and Eli Morgan closes the door on 13 pitches for Eli Morgan. And as I mentioned, a no-hitter there. Beaufort County advances. They will be back in action tomorrow at 6:30 on Field 3 as Jefferson will be back in action tomorrow on Field 1 at 4 o'clock. So we will see you then. Thanks for joining us here on Field 2. And we will see you tomorrow back for the Dixie boys and Dixie Junior boys. Thanks for listening to the Beaufort County Channel.